Welcome to the Tattooed Truth Podcast with Anna Love, a space for embodied conversations for soul-led rebels. I'm your host, Anna Love, intuitive empowerment coach, subconscious healing guide, and no stranger to burning it all down to rise in truth. Here we dive deep into identity, healing, personal power, and what it really takes to lead a soul-aligned life. You'll hear unfiltered insights, real stories, and live coaching sessions with bold callers ready to break free and embody their next level. This is your invitation to reclaim your voice, rewire your patterns, and rise fully expressed. Let's get into it. Welcome to the Tattooed Truth Podcast. I'm very excited to be here with my beautiful new friend, Erin Pittinaro. And you're in upstate New York, aren't you?
I sure am. I mean, there's no snow currently on the ground, but there was like 24 hours ago. So, it's where we're at here.
That's the thing of it. I'm from New York as well, Albany. You're from Rochester, I believe. And I'd love to have you tell the audience what makes you so freaking badass, because I wanted you on this podcast because you've got the energy that I love. I'm drawn to you. I was in a group and I immediately was like, who's this girl? And I started doing the stalking afterwards. And then we met. So here we are. And tell us a little bit about yourself and the beauty and magic and joy that you bring to others on this planet.
Well, feeling is mutual, girl. We immediately were like, who are you? Inside the group. I always have to shout out the people that bring us together. So shout out to Jesse Cruz. I say his name, I swear, weekly.
You do.
Lately. Because, he's been in my world for like a handful of years. And it's funny, we were just talking about another mutual, I will introduce myself in a second, but another mutual mentor of ours, Melanie Ann Layer, even though she has no idea who I am, most likely. I'll shout her out that her whole thing this week was because of this, because of this, and because of that, and because of that, and then because of that, here we are. And so my girlfriend Jesslyn introduced me to Jesse a handful of years ago, and I got to know him and just saw what a remarkable human he is and what he's been through. And because of that, I got to know his wife, and her and I hit it off, and I'm a part of her world in Warrior Women. And because of that, I reconnected with Jesse more. And because of that, here we are connected. So many because of that. And so I am so blessed to be a part of your world, and you're doing amazing things. So my name is Erin Pittinaro. I am a wife, a boy mom, amongst many other things, a social worker turned entrepreneur. And my passion as it is currently is helping women out of burnout and reinvent themselves. So I am, I guess, self-labeled as a transformational coach with certification in trauma-informed care. So I have my own private practice therapeutically and see folks that need that side of me, the therapist in me. And then I work with a lot of women who are really reinventing themselves at this season of their life. A lot of them looking to either launch or build either their practice or another business in the health and wellness space.
And so can you define burnout, because it's a widely used term and it means different things to different people. So how do you see burnout manifesting in these women's lives, and what is it that, they want instead of that?
Yeah. So I think, to me, burnout looks like not stopping everything and crawling into bed in the fetal position and crying, right? That to me is actually a depressed episode, which needs to be handled therapeutically. But burnout to me is, I see these high level, amazing women that push themselves into all the things and keep putting stuff on their plate and keep putting stuff on their plate, and not realizing that they are lacking in the care for themselves, and then wondering why they might be feeling like they're falling short, even though they're not, even though they're still showing up as a remarkable wife or significant other as a remarkable mom, as a remarkable business owner or executive level woman, but inside they feel like something's missing.
Like less than, or there needs to be more.
Yes, like their desires have to be put on the back burner because they're not good enough to actually desire those things.
To put themselves first.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And when you say desires, right? Is it a cup of tea or a bath, or is it like a degree? Like what would they desire that they're not deeming as important?
Yeah, so I think that's so unique and individualized, right? That's where we can come in as coaches and help create the vision for that person and help them create the roadmap. That's where my nitty-gritty work comes in my method is helping them recreate the vision for themselves because I think we get to a season of life where we don't dream anymore.
Mm,
We
that's it.
just sort of go through the day and
Mhm.
crawl into bed and say, okay, I made it through the day. And like that's not what life is meant to be. I mean, I could talk all day about this, but it's not necessarily the bubble baths and the hot coffee or iced coffee from your favorite corner coffee shop, right? Like, yes, those are things we need to integrate in life and those little treats, but it's what did I do to show up for myself today? Like, what
Mhm.
did I do? Did I take 10 minutes to just write out what I'm feeling? Did I take 10 minutes to write my gratitude down? Am
To
I
connect.
yes, to your soul calling. I think we oftentimes get derailed from our purpose because there's so many roles. And that's where the burnout to badass method has been created, my unboxed method and framework, where we're unboxing from those rules and those roles and those expectations that we just sort of fell into, that we didn't ask for, that
Mhm.
just sort of happened, and then we don't know how to get ourselves out of that.
Yeah, like things came with the territory of being a parent, being a wife, being whatever it is in the career world. And like, there's a lot of women in the Starbucks line. So I think that they're getting their coffee because it's another thing to do that they do, right? So they do that. But it's the like allowing themselves what you said to explore what do I even want or to dream? Because a lot of the times we turn off the faucet, like when we're in hypervigilance mode, we're not dreaming, we're getting shit done,
Yes.
right? I think
And
that's
there's
what.
a time and a place for that, right? Like, so I think to your point, understanding yourself and learning about your vision first and some of these dreams you have, and then how can we create the roadmap to that from a place of alignment in the masculine and feminine energy. I think so many women default to, me included, this masculine energy of go, 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 do, do, do. And we forget to tap into that feminine energy of just being, you
Receiving,
know?
being. I was that woman years ago. I didn't know there was a masculine, feminine. I just knew that if I didn't do it, it wasn't getting done. And it had a way of working against, like, it had a way of supporting me because I got a lot of shit done and I moved forward in life, right? Moved the vehicle forward and I got things that I needed and I got things that I also wanted. But I noticed, and tell me if you what your thought is on this. I noticed that in my marriage, I like he was attracted to that part of me, that getting shit done, but then I didn't know how to receive. I didn't even know there was such a thing as create space so he can do some things too, right? And because of that, he was of the mindset of like, you can get it, you got this, right? You're strong. You're so strong. You can. And I was like, oh my God, I fucking set myself up for this failure. This was me.
It's a self-fulfilling prophecy, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. It's interesting kind of going on the tangent of romantic partnership. I think this is a really important piece. And I've shared this a lot, and my husband is fine with me sharing this, but we were in a season of life a handful of years ago, a little more than that now. Believe it or not, COVID saved us. But he is a first responder. And at
Mhm.
the time, I was working multiple jobs while trying to build my private practice. Didn't know on the horizon that coaching was even going to be a thing for me. But during that time, we had, two small kids, life was lifing, and we were just so disconnected. We did separate for a short period of time. And during that time, you know, there's so many things I could talk about on this in relationships, but it is one of the survival codes that we have. We get stuck in survival mode if we are surrounding ourselves with people that are not lifting us up, right, into
Thriving.
this level. And what I had realized, that was when I took a deep dive into energetics and really got started to learn more about this. And what I realized is I was taking his masculine energy and
Mhm.
giving him my feminine.
Oof.
And
Yeah.
so it was a huge eye-opening experience where, because it defaulted to me, all the things as a mom and, running the household. I often say like CEO mama is my tagline, right? Like I'm
Oh.
a CEO in the home and I'm a CEO in my company, right? So I took that role very to heart. But what I realized is I needed to give him back his masculine energy.
Mm.
And that meant I needed to take my feminine from him. And so it wasn't easy, but I had to allow him to step in. I had to stop trying to control everything. I had to have deeper conversation with him about what that looked like and what I needed from him and ask him what he needed from me and then
Mm.
actually implement that.
Yeah.
And so I started to dream and then we started to dream. And that was a game changer
Wow.
for us. So yeah. I'm
So
happy to say our marriage is amazing. It's more than I could have ever dreamt of, especially given what we went through at that time.
great.
So
You're a
yeah.
success story there. And now you teach this. I hear the workings of this is why you teach and do what you do for the women, because you've walked that walk of almost disaster. There, how many people do you hear about that did end the relationships inside COVID? Right.
Oh yeah. I mean, it definitely, make or break it for people during that time. And I know a lot of people that struggled and that it ended differently, and that's okay too, right? I'm not saying either way, people have to do what's in their best interest for themselves and the whole. So I think we were very blessed to be able to come back together and be able to say there's something here for
Mm.
us, and we are stronger as a unit than not. But it took a lot, and I think in the midst of growing a business and that pivoting from not just providing therapy, but then sort of how that evolved is I left the public side of things as a social worker and went private and built my private practice fairly quickly. And I had a lot of colleagues reaching out saying, I want to do this. What are you doing? And then I started supporting them, providing clinical supervision, but then also coaching them on building their business. And I was like, oh, this is a thing. So that's how I pivoted in the last couple of years. And that's really grown. And the women coming into my world, like yourself, that I'm meeting that are just remarkable human beings. If I didn't shift that and pivot, I wouldn't have met them. And that's that relationship piece, that survival code. I've kind of cracked that, being able to meet new people constantly that are just a huge connection in my world.
Wow. Can you talk briefly on, you mentioned it in your story here, when you realized that you were you were giving him the masculine and taking his feminine. And then like there was a part of me, I really felt that. But then there was a part of me when you said, and then I had to, and then you were like, I had to release, right? I had to ask him and communicate. There was a part of me that felt that's the scary part for me is that communication and that trust. And now I actually have to like ask him his opinions and then we have to deal with that. Do you find that like, can you talk more about that? Or do you find that in the women that you work with being also relevant?
Oh, 100%. I think, again, a lot of us women have been programmed to operate from that masculine energy and default to that, just take over and do. And I still have that in me, right? Like I'm a control freak, like, and I've owned that, but now I can catch it. I can absolutely be like, oh, this is me trying to control the thing here. One way that it dawned on me, and this is again going back years, we woke up one morning and I want to say it was like a weekend. And we just kind of started to go about our day. And then we were getting frustrated at each other because we didn't communicate about what we
Mhm.
wanted our day to look like. I
Mm.
had it in my mind, all the things I wanted to do that day. He had it in his, all the things. And there was like no alignment, right? It was just like, okay, now you're going to go to the gym for 2 hours and I'm stuck home with the kids. Did you even ask if I wanted to do anything? Right. And that's where the like breakdown of communication and the disconnect often happen, is that instead of waking up and saying, hey, what's on your mind today? What do you see this looking like? And how can I serve you?
Mhm.
How can you serve me? And so it's just a different,
Wow.
is it always aligned like that? No, right? Like he's a first responder. He works 24-hour shifts. My
Mhm.
kids are going in 17 different directions
Yeah.
and into all the things. And I own a company and I'm doing 72 other things, right? So it's not always perfect, but we're much better at that. So I think just asking the question of how do you see today going? What's on your agenda today?
Mhm. Yeah,
Um,
respecting the other. I feel respect when you're saying that. Yeah.
yeah. And so it has helped us not get angry at each other with when I have this preconceived, like, this is how the day is going to go, and then you don't show up that way. That's not on him,
Yeah.
right?
Expectation that I
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that has been significantly eye-opening and helpful. And then honoring the part of me that needs to break down and letting him not come in and fix it and save it. So another thing that I have used a lot when communicating with him, and this is something you can use even with your kids or friends, is I don't need you to fix it. I just simply want to tell you what I'm thinking,
Mhm.
you
Wow.
know, or asking the opposite of, is this something you want my opinion on, or do you just need to vent to me?
Yeah. Like
Like gain clarity. Yeah.
what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I just need to
Huge.
bitch, right? Like sometimes I just need to vent.
Mhm.
And I just say to him, I don't, especially men, often want to fix it. They want to neutralize the situation. That's their chemical makeup. And I don't need him to save me. I just need him to be there and listen.
In that way.
Mhm.
Wow. I love it. Tell us about, now you mentioned like your programs. Tell
Mhm.
us about what that looks like if a listener here is looking for a transformation or to work with you. What do you do with them? Do you bring them through? How long is it? What does it look like?
Yeah. So this has shifted over time. And as we were talking about before we started recording, right, we're always evolving, which is beautiful, also kind of like, can be overwhelming. And I do a lot of different things. I have a lot of different offers because I've been doing this work for so long that I want to support people where they're at, right? So my most signature course or offer I have is, so my company is the Alchemy Experience. And so I have a program that's just a self-paced program and it's 3 modules and it's called the Alchemist. And it's how to really learn the psychological blueprint,
Mhm.
how to learn your energetics of like the masculine and feminine. And then the third part of that is how to combine that and really fully step into who you are. So that's my first ever signature program. I love it. It's everything that has created me and my evolution. And then in the last year, I've created Unboxed, which is really helping women go through the 3-step process, the method, the Unboxed method of clear visual of what you want for your life, creating that clear visualization, helping you gain clarity on that, and then helping you roadmap. And so we do like a reverse engineering from that,
Mhm.
and then how to take actions
Mhm.
from those mini actions, those goals, how to anticipate roadblocks in
Mhm.
life. There are things we can't always anticipate, right? But then how do we pivot and how do we detour and then how do we course correct? And so it's walking them through that. That is a 3-month
Mhm.
mastermind that I'm currently running right now. There'll be a new one coming in January.
Yeah.
And then for those women that really want to run this and learn how to do that, there's a certification program I have. So I will give them a trauma informed certification as a coach that for an extra month after they take in the course, they then will be certified as a trauma informed coach.
Yeah.
and a part of our hub in the alchemy experience where we refer them out. And so I have a couple women right now in the process, and it's so cool.
I love that. Yeah, you and I had actually talked about that as an option, and I still may do that. Just to it's good to go through the processes yourself as a coach. And we were talking about this earlier too, that if we are out there coaching women, it behooves us to be, in the hot seat as well, because we've got our own blind spots, and we want to evolve to, the highest, not only for ourselves and our families, but to do good for the people out there who need us. So
Yeah. And, I think anybody can just label themselves as a coach, right? And so for those of you listening, that the hardest part for me that I still at times will struggle with, but I have really evolved in this process is I'm I'm a social worker by trade. I've been a social worker for 20 years. And so it's very ingrained in me to have processes, checklists, like all the things, right? And so that I have had to release to some degree because the coaching space is like the wild, wild west, right? You can recreate yourself, re-identify yourself in any way, which is beautiful. Also, for somebody like me that's so cerebral, it has been really challenging to tap into that energetic space. So if you're sitting here like, I just don't understand all this, that's okay. And that's why I have a couple different levels of programs to come into to start to learn these things and decide what is it for you, right? And I think through this process, being able to identify as leading others as a coach, right? Again, has been something super challenging, but also really beautiful because I've lived and breathed it and I've done it. And I'm always evolving, but I think I can show people and support them, not in, oh, I know it all, but almost like we're walking this together, which is like so great.
Yeah. And you can take them further. Like, you being a coach and a social worker, you can take them through what they need to do, and all the things you were trained in about the personality and everything. But then you can take them in a way that social working would potentially limit you, or at least say that we're done here. But then you're like, but then we have this.
Yes.
Look at this yellow brick road.
Yes, and it's just so cool in the trauma informed care piece that I have been doing for 20 years, right? That's the secret sauce to coaching, is knowing our limitations. And so I don't think there's enough coaches that have that piece. And I really want to integrate that and change the culture of the coaching industry in that. And not that we need to regulate it like social work is, but as a licensed clinician, I can bring that piece to the table and say, hey, when do we need to stop and intervene because somebody's experiencing this block because they have trauma history versus just, nope, let's push through. And that's the feminine way, not just the masculine way.
Wow. That's so informed too. It's the healthy way and the aligned way is what I'm hearing. Nice and safe, and yeah, so that's great. I love this. I love this so much. I honestly, after this call, want to talk to you about becoming one of your people.
And I would love it. That gives me a
I've
chill.
I've done my share of trauma trauma informed is what I am, but I feel as though I could go further. And if you're offering that in your program, why not? Like, I would love to learn from you. So, okay, is there anything else that you think that listeners might like to know about you, or that you want to inform them of?
I mean, my guilty pleasure is watching like crazy things, like crazy shows, like what am I, like CSI and all of those things, and like all those crazy shows that I just like to share that because I'm,
Detective.
yes, like it's just, the Dahmer stuff. Like people are like, you're so crazy. My husband's like, don't you get enough of that with what you do as like a social worker? I'm like, never.
Same.
So, I just think there's a yes, let me step into my badass way of life. And then there's also the me that's like eating a sleeve of Oreos, sitting on my couch watching crap TV. So, I'm human.
Yeah.
I think what I'd want to share with anybody in your world is just fail. Let yourself fail. Let yourself fail fast, fail often, and just use that like life is meant to challenge you, and if we didn't have these challenges, we wouldn't become better people because of it.
I love that. That's such gold right there. And it did take a long time for me to see the challenges as stepping stones. But once I did, it changed the meaning of my life. And I love that you said that. Thank you for supporting all the women through their, trials and tribulations, becoming, going from challenge to, what would you call it, to thriving
Yeah.
or,
Surviving to thriving is what I
yeah.
really look at that. One last thing, if none of these things really feel like for you and you're looking for a place to come to of just being around other women of this caliber, I am a part of a group called Legacy Leaders. And so my good friend Desiree and I lead that, but it's more of a collective. And so that is something we do monthly. It doesn't have to be local. It's a group. We meet virtually monthly and we have a topic we discuss and we give content for it, but then we also open it up and it is a beautiful collective. It's more of just women coming together and supporting each other. So if you're looking for something of just, you're really at a higher level, but you need to be in community with other high level women, that would be a really great place for you to be at too. So reach out for that if there's any questions about that. We'd love
Love
to
it.
be part of that. So
I love that. All right. Thank you so much. This has been wonderful. Such a treat. So appreciate you so much for taking the
thank
time.
you.
Thanks for tuning in to the Tattoo Truth Podcast. If this episode lit something up in you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it, leave a review, and make sure you're subscribed so you never miss a truth bomb. If you're craving deeper support, guided healing, or a space to reclaim your voice and power, check the show notes for ways to work with me. Remember, your truth is not too loud, too bold, or too much. It's exactly what this world needs. Keep showing up, stay wild, stay true. I'll see you next time.